And I am joined in the studio now by Nick Rushworth, who's going to be taking a look at what the world's press is saying this morning. And Nick, we're going to be starting off with one of our top news stories, starting off with Mali.
Hi to you, Catherine, this Friday. Yes, indeed, Mali, and a two-page spread in the Wall Street Journal Europe edition. And it is looking at what it says are the French Mali attack showing flaws in the West's security plan. There you can see that headline there. Now, what's that about? The argument in this very, very long article is that France's attack on Islamic extremists in Mali is exposing major strains in the Western world's alliance. And the biggest breakdown of all, it argues, is between Paris and Washington. The argument here is that Paris expected robust, quick support from Washington, and Washington is now saying that maybe some of its messages in all the meetings that have taken place in recent months have actually been lost in translation. Can you believe it, Catherine? We were experts on that. And Washington is saying there was no specific support. So the paper overall, the Wall Street Journal Europe, is saying, in fact, what we're seeing is a transatlantic disconnect on the whole Mali crisis.
I seem to remember Susan Rice, the American ambassador to the United Nations, calling the French plan for Mali something along the lines of rubbish a few weeks ago. So, yeah, it does sound like they're not quite on the same page, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Elsewhere, speaking about Mali, we've got something from the African press.
Well, I dug around to see what was happening this Friday in the African papers, and I found this, which is actually in the Guinea-Conakry website .info, so sort of news website. And there you can see Mali at war, the African Union somewhat wary as well. So not just Western nations wary about this conflict, but also countries in Africa. Now, just have to be very clear that the involvement of 6,000 African troops on the ground in Mali is spearheaded by ECOWAS, the West African body. The interesting thing about this article is it's asking, hey, there's another body in Africa called the African Union. What's it doing? What's it saying? And it says the silence has been deafening for 2 weeks. And why is that? The argument in this kind of very polemical piece in this article is saying, well, really, the head of the AU is stuck, really. Either they make statements and get involved, which could then be interpreted by critics as being somehow backing neo-colonialism in Africa, which is a heavy, difficult area to go to. That means that its overall strategy is just a wall of silence, say nothing, because otherwise you're going to be seen as, not getting it right in the balance between support for Islamic extremism in the region and what could be seen as neocolonialism.
OK, well, moving on then to Korea, a sabre rattling once again.
Well, Pyongyang is threatening a third nuclear test. It says that it will bring the US within reach of a nuclear strike. The Guardian is reporting on this, as are lots of the papers. The quote in The Guardian is, settling accounts with the US needs to be done with force, not with words, that quote from the North Koreans. For analysis, I turn to the Jung-Ang Daily, which is in Seoul in South Korea. And it's saying that, in fact, all this is, yes, indeed, sabre rattling. It's a gesture, no less, a way of attracting Washington's attention. What we need now, it says, is really a major breakthrough. Obama and Kerry are in place. They should really pursue an end to the 60-year truce that has taken place between the two Koreas and actually draft with the two Koreas a full peace treaty. So it's saying that, in fact, we could be seeing that a crucial moment for South and North Korea.
OK, and just very briefly, some reaction to that decision in the United States to allow women into those full combat roles on the battlefield.
Well, it's on the front page of the Times of London today, women to the forefront, to the front line, towards frontline combat. The USA Today International Edition, also the front cover has that. That paper is pointing out that, in fact, this decision is not really a shock. What we've seen in the Iraq and Afghan conflicts is 152 female US troops who have died in deployment. And Scottish paper, The Herald, is asking, well, should women really be on the front line? It says the debate is on. It's not really about men versus women or who should do what. It's about who is the right person. That's some of the debate that's going on.
Very interesting debate, which I'm sure will continue on. Thanks very much, Nicholas Rushworth, with that look at the international papers.